All right, y'all. Hey, good stuff. Okay, we did a lot of really good things.
That right there might be the understatement of the year, because in our first real look at the Indiana Fever in a game that actually counted, what we got wasn't just hope, it was an absolute drubbing.
Well, it is a final against the Chicago Sky, and it was the worst nightmare that the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese could have possibly imagined.
In a game the league hyped up as a top-tier rivalry, the scoreline made it look like the Fever were playing their kid sisters. But don't get too caught up in the scoreboard, because the real story was in the details. The nuggets we saw in just 40 minutes taught us a lot about this team, and especially about Caitlin Clark. We saw a new side of her. She absolutely flipped the script from last season. And if you're the rest of the WNBA watching this game, you should be terrified, because Caitlin Clark and the Fever were cooking. We thought they would be scary. Now we know they are. Let's break down all the spicy stuff, because after this performance, it's going to be really hard not to start talking MVPs and championships. But first, like this video. 1 like equals 1 tissue for Angel Reese. And subscribe for more WNBA updates. Okay, so let's start here. This was the ultimate tone setter for the WNBA season, not just because of what happened on the court, but everything that happened off it too.
So as you guys can see here, he stated there is a line for Caitlin Clark merch around the corner at 9 a.m., an hour before the team store opens. 6 hours before tip-off, there has never been anybody like CC. My goodness.
We've talked a lot about how Caitlin Clark is the most popular and marketable athlete in America, and now we finally have Commissioner Kathy Engelbert saying it out loud.
She's the most popular athlete in America,
But it's the imagery that really drives it home. Lines of people forming hours before the store even opened. 6 hours before tip-off, fans were already camped out, just waiting to buy merch. That tells you everything you need to know about the kind of demand Caitlin and the Fever are creating. And of course, the result, a sellout crowd of over 17,000 fans. And that shouldn't be a surprise. The Fever led the WNBA in attendance last season. And if this is how year 2 is starting, we're in for something special. As of making this video, it's too early to know the official ratings, but I'm guessing it'll be over 3 million viewers. Let me know in the comments if I'm close. Anyway, all of this bodes really well for the WNBA if they can just ride the Caitlin wave, stop ripping on the fans, and finally give in to the growth that's already knocking on the door.
NBA players weirdly have been fighting growth. Stop fighting the truth. Get out of your own way. It is a bad look. She is a fascinating player, and it must be exhausting, hating new cool things.
But let's get to the game itself, because that's where the real fireworks were. Things got spicier than a one-chip challenge. While it's just 40 minutes, we learned a lot about this team, and we learned even more about Caitlin Clark.
Quarters under 20, holding the team Steph said it, we were relentless, we played through possessions, but that physicality and that relentlessness, possession after possession, wears on a team. And then that was the entire game. They were feeling us every cut, we were talking, we were communicating, we were flying around, deflections.
I don't think I'm spoiling anything at this point. This was an absolute beatdown. I'll get into the scoring in a minute, but first, let's talk about the big issue this team had last year that now looks way better: defense. They held the Sky to just 58 points, under 20 points per quarter, and it wasn't just one player, it was a total team effort.
Congratulations.
But then you have the offense, and there were a lot of standout performances. Before I get into Caitlin, who absolutely lit it up, first let's talk about Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah put on an absolute show, not just on the scoreboard, but she also showed some toughness, which I'll get into in a minute. And of course, we've got to give it up for Dana Borna. Congratulations.
Wants more of that from her, catching around that 15-foot area. Clark connects! The first logo bomb of the season from Caitlin Clark.
Dana Borna just moved up to 3rd on the WNBA's all-time scoring list. What a moment. What a storyline for the first regular season game of the year. While all eyes were on Caitlin, Borna quietly made history, and she did it while leading her team to a statement win. That's the kind of performance that reminds you this team has vets who can still ball at an elite level. But the real offensive driver was, you guessed it, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark's stat line, let me just read it to you. She came away with 20 points, 4 blocks, that's a career high for her, 2 steals, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds. Like, who are you, Caitlin Clark?
The jump. She controlled the pace, made the right reads, and kept the defense guessing. Whether it was pulling up from deep, slicing through the lane, or dropping dimes in transition, she was the engine of everything the Fever were doing.
Dave Portnoy won $350,000. He placed a $25,000 bet on a Caitlin Clark triple-double right before tip-off, and he won $350,000.
Maybe Dave Portnoy should send Caitlin a nice bottle of her favorite wine or something, because when she grabbed that final rebound to lock in the triple-double, he cashed out for $350,000.
It is still going after Caitlin Clark in the aftermath.
Everyone in the arena had to know this foul was coming. As soon as you saw Angel Reese wide open, you knew that Caitlin Clark was going to come in and take that.
And then you had LeBron James post on X to congratulate Caitlin Clark on her triple-double. He said, "Triple dub CC. Great way to kick off the season." Now look, I know Dave Portnoy and LeBron don't have anything to do with the actual game, but they are both examples of the kind of media attention Caitlin draws, that they are two of the most prominent voices in sports social media. And in today's attention economy, Caitlin's already winning the game, just by showing up and performing. Anyway, speaking of performance on the court, we saw a new side of Caitlin Clark in this game. She totally flipped the script, and it's all anyone could talk about.
It's nothing. Like, it is a basketball play, and an Angel goes flying. Angel gets hit, in fairness, and she just flies. And then jumps up and tries to go at her. She tries to charge her down while Caitlin walks away.
Caitlin Clark fouled Angel Reese hard. Angel's arms flew up in the air, she hit the floor, and then popped up like she wanted a piece of Caitlin. It was tense. It was dramatic. And it lit up social media instantly. But here's the thing, fans and analysts were quick to point out that while it was definitely a hard foul, Angel was clearly embellishing. Flailing arms. Exaggerated fall.it had flop energy written all over it, and people saw right through it.
You got the tech? I didn't know that.
Oh,
first of
no!
All,
I know.
Let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good play on the basketball. I'm not sure what the refs saw to upgrade it, and that's up to their discretion after watching the initial whatever happened.
And I've got more reaction in a minute. X was absolutely losing it. But first, this moment was interesting for 2 reasons. First, remember how I mentioned Aaliyah Boston showing more toughness this season? She stepped in immediately, got between Caitlin and Angel, and honestly, she may have prevented a shove or worse from going down. That's leadership. That's presence, and that's exactly what was missing last season. And I have to add this for fun, Aaliyah's reaction after the game when she found out she got a technical foul during that sequence immediately went viral.
Rebecca Allen, too strong on a 3.
Second, it showed a different side of Caitlin than people maybe expected, but one that fans are very excited about. Because here's the thing, look at what happened right before that foul. Angel Reese had just pushed a Fever player seconds earlier. Caitlin saw it, waved for a foul, and surprise, got nothing from the refs. Then, as a result of that shove, Angel ended up wide open with the ball. And Caitlin? She didn't hesitate. She closed the gap and delivered a hard foul. While a basketball play, some might even say it was payback.it showed that Caitlin Clark isn't just here to play, she's here to fight back.
Looked like Angel Reese might have pushed or shoved Aaliyah Boston, but I'm telling you right now, Caitlin Clark ain't playing no games, dog. Caitlin Clark been in that weight room. She won all.
All the talk after last season was that Caitlin Clark was getting pushed around. Everyone agreed she needed more team support, more toughness, more enforcers around her. Fans looked to players like Sophie Cunningham, even Dana Borner, because of their size edge and zero hesitation to mix things up when needed. But at the end of the day, Caitlin would still have to handle herself, and we knew she'd been training all off-season. Her regimen was relentless, early mornings, weight work, strength training. She wasn't just adding skill, she was adding muscle. And this game? This was the first real glimpse of the new Caitlin Clark, stronger, bolder, sharper, and in a twist nobody saw coming, she pulled the reverse. She didn't need an enforcer. She became one.
You know the way people were asking for Caitlin Clark to get an enforcer? Caitlin was the enforcer. Caitlin was the enforcer today.
Now, like I mentioned, fans immediately took to X to react to the whole thing, and a lot of the comments, they were ripping on Angel Reese for her over-the-top reaction to the foul.
Angel Reese may be the most petty, insufferable athlete in sports right now. Her jealousy for Caitlin Clark has made her act a fool on and off the court. Wow. For the love of God, can we now 100% collectively agree Caitlin Clark is leaps and bounds better than Angel Reese? This will be the last time their names can ever be associated with each other. Of course it won't be. It won't be, because the media can't lose it.
And then you have RG3 going even harder. He posted after watching Caitlin Clark's flagrant foul on Angel Reese and the aftermath. There is no way Angel Reese can continue the lie that she doesn't dislike Caitlin Clark. I know what hatred looks like. Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. Not some basketball rivalry hate either, real hate. Now, it's funny because after all the drama, both Caitlin and Angel ended up calling the foul in a similar way in their post-game press conferences, even if one of them seemed a little more excited to say it. Here's what Caitlin had to say.